300 days plus sober and clean. I'm so grateful I get to make this video for you. I'm so grateful I get to shine this little light of mine. I was saying to someone today, get Sam Cooke on, get that live version of this little light of mine, because that's what this thing is all about. Shining your light in this world, shining your goodness, being the example. Every 12-step meeting ends with the serenity prayer. And the serenity prayer, basically, I'll say it for you if you don't know it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer is basically letting you know that the only thing you have power and control over is yourself. And even with that, we find through working the 12 steps that we give it over to something we call a higher power. I wanted to tell you a story today about something that happened to me recently. And I also wanted to read you a little bit of literature, just a paragraph in the book. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start just reading. I've done that before on pages and stuff, but reading pages of books, but just reading a paragraph. There's so much to say. There's so much in this big book. And there's so much in life when you're experiencing it sober and clean. And I was saying to someone today, like, life is like a psychedelic trip. You don't need drugs. You don't need alcohol. If you really take the time, I think that's why in step 11, it tells us to meditate and pray. If you take the time to be really conscious of what's going on, if you get present, it's called present for a reason, right? It's a gift. You realize the smell of a tangerine, the taste of a tangerine, the texture, opening a tangerine. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go, but like, that's a psychedelic trip. The way it hits your tongue, the way the juices flow over your tongue, like it's all a psychedelic trip. The drugs, the alcohol, they dumb it down. They dumb life's experience down. You know, they close, they make it really narrow, they make your communities narrow, they make your thinking narrow, they make your will narrow. There's no need for it when you get this thing. And that's what I want to do. I want to shine that light to say, hey, just getting up in the morning, having gratitude, feeling your feelings, getting in a cold shower, getting in a hot shower, going for a workout, all these things, these experiences. The body, it's an inner drugstore. There's so many things, so many senses we have. But I'm going off on a tangent here. Maybe all this stuff's for another day. But let me just read you this little bit. My big book, it was open. I thought I want to read some literature today. So I opened it where it was, and it was on page 84. And I just wanted to read this. It says at the top, "We will know peace no matter how far down the scale we have gone. We will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves." And I think that's really cool today that I get to read that, because, you know, sometimes, I mean, I don't know about you, if you're watching this, you've probably done some things that you really regret in the past. And I used to think, like, how am I going to get over that, you know? But 300 days plus sober, back on this journey of sobriety and this spiritual awakening, I've realized that darkness, you can alchemize it and you can turn it into light. And you get to have those Me Too moments with somebody else and take away their shame and their guilt. And you get to, it's like if you use fertilizer, you want a beautiful flower to grow, you have to use manure. You have to use shit to get it to, and sometimes in life, like to help somebody to become a beautiful flower, you have to tell, hey, look at this shit, look at what you went through. It gave you fortitude, it gave you grit, it gave you determination, it gave you the ability to have empathy, it gave you the ability to have compassion for your fellow man, your fellow woman, your fellow man, mankind. You know, and these are things that we learn. We have to go through trials and tribulations and things that I genuinely thought, if anybody finds out about these things, I'm gonna just kill myself because of the shame and the guilt. Now I share these with other people to help them. It's part of my story. It's part of the work we do to say, hey, you know, I was down a hole, but I got back out of it. I did these things I did regret, and the way I acted, the values and morals and beliefs I had, but I changed. You can change, you know. It takes work. And like we say at the end of our meetings, it works if you work it. It works if you work it. You know, God is the wind, but you have to adjust the sail. Do not rest on your morals. Do not just say, oh, I'm an alcoholic, you know, this is alcoholism, or oh, I'm just a human. No. Fight. Do the work. Pick up the pen. Seek prayer, meditation, read books, get out there, speak to your priest, your rabbi, your therapist, do the work, nourish your mind, eat good foods, you know, exercise, look after yourself, be clean, be kind to others, be loving, be patient, be tolerant. All these things, that's the work. So, you know, and financial fear and all these things, you know, you start to realize in life what's priceless. You start to realize in life what counts. And I just want to end with this story. And I feel myself getting fired up over it already because it's so amazing. I recently went to, and I get to sense it, I get to remember it, I get to feel it. I recently went to Brazil to see my daughter. And, you know, my daughter's only 5. And she's got some fantastic people around her. And one of these people said to me, when you leave your daughter, it would be a great idea that you could give her something. You could give her a shirt, something for her to keep while you're not there, let her know when you're coming back, all these things that will nourish her and be good for her. And I thought, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that. But because of the awareness I have these days, because of the humility I have these days, I'm putting myself into environments where I'm open to listen, where I'm open to think, that could be a good idea. I might try that. And I did this with a stranger, someone who's qualified, someone who has expertise. I listened. And so I took this idea and I said to Piper, my daughter, she stopped a couple of nights, one weekend in a row at my Airbnb. And I said to her, hey, Piper, which top do you want? Which top? I'm going to give you one of my shirts when I leave to go to Brazil. To go back to America when I leave Brazil. But I'm going to give you one of these tops. Which one do you want? And I'll sleep in it the next 2 nights. And give it kisses. And then you can have it. And you can sleep in it. And you can think of Daddy when you see it. And she loved it. And we picked out a top and I wore it. And it was great. It was amazing. I could see that she felt nourished. I could see that she felt a part of. I could feel that we were together, and she felt equal. And there was this exchange of love through action. And I gave her that shirt, and I went to where she lives, and I put it in a bedroom, and then she put it on, and she was messing around. It's a vest, and it's sleeveless, and she wore it like a nightie, and it was amazing. And then I was downstairs in the kitchen, and she came in. She came in with one of her own shirts, and she had it on her face, and she just handed me it. And I knew straight away what was going on, and I was like, in my head, all these thoughts was going through. I was just like so proud of her. And I was like, wow, she wants to do the same thing for me. She wants to give me a gift. She wants to reciprocate. We talked at the beginning about this example, how an example, when you shine your little light, how it affects others. Look at that. Look at how that affected my daughter. I didn't have to tell her to do that. I showed my example, and then she thought, I like that. I'm going to try that. And I don't know whether she went to a laundry basket or she went upstairs to a wardrobe, but she found her little Minnie Mouse top and she gave it to me. And that moment was priceless. That moment, you could not put an amount onto that. The man-made currency, whichever one you want. Reais, dollar, pound, cryptocurrency, you couldn't put an amount on that moment. And These are the things in life that are earned, that are free, that are beautiful, that take your breath away, that are better than any drug, any psychedelic trip, any cup of whatever alcohol you've got. These are the moments. And when you're sober and you can inhale those and you can keep those and you can journal about them and share about them, wow, who wouldn't want to be sober for that? Who wouldn't want to be wide awake for those moments? So I'm so happy I get to share that with you. I'm so happy I get to shine this little light of mine. I'm so grateful for my daughter. She's going to be okay. Piper, if you're watching this, in that moment, I was so proud of you. And I thought, you know what? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of things going on and that will go on. But you're made of good stuff. You are made of good stuff. And I'm so happy that I get to be a part of your life. And I'm going to do my best to be a great example for you and keep shining this little light of mine. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I'm going to keep making these videos. I'm going to keep shining my light. And if you're watching this, I love you. Vá com Deus.